What if, after losing feedback, Ben did not remove the Omnitrix but instead asked Azimuth to fix it? Well, this is the story of Ben 10 Delta, where after losing feedback, Ben felt immense sorrow, just like Ben Prime did. But unlike Ben Prime, he did not remove the Omnitrix out of sadness. Instead, he asked Azimuth to fix it. Azimuth agreed, and while fixing the Omnitrix, he also made some upgrades to it, in the hope that it might help this young hero avoid going through his loss. And those upgrades were Lifeform Lock and Time Restraint Removal. Lifeform Lock is the same one we saw in Omniverse with Bullfrag. Time Restraint Removal means Ben can remain an alien for as long as he wants. And Ben had also asked Azimuth for the Master Control, but Azimuth didn't give him that. Instead, he taught Ben how to transform from one alien to another. With these new changes, Ben has now decided to go to the Plumber Academy after the summer ends. Although this Omnitrix is technically still a prototype Omnitrix, it began to grow slowly with Ben, kind of like Ben 10,000's Omnitrix. It also received constant updates, and slowly it began to recalibrate. In the Prime timeline, because the Omnitrix was activated after many years, it completely recalibrated all at once. But here, the recalibration is very slow because Ben never removed it. And in the story of Ben 10 Delta, Ben's age is 14 years, meaning 3 years have passed since losing feedback. This Ben did not stop being a hero, and he became the youngest official plumber. After getting the upgrades, he joined the Plumber Academy a year later. 1 year after his enrollment into the Plumbers Academy, he selected for a rescue mission operation as his graduation exam. Forming a 3-man team with Cooper and Lucy, who were his classmates, their mission objective is the recapture of Kevin Levin and apprehending Phil Billings, who is now a wanted criminal. New rookie, Rook Blanco, is assigned to supervise this expedition into the Null Void. With this, the four are deployed into the treacherous depths of the Null Void. Additionally, Ben has received his first hardware upgrade, as well as the new feature of the Omnitrix being able to mesh into clothes for stealth if necessary. But don't stress about it because this was just a future tease. We are not there yet in the story. After that, we cut to a scene where Ben is transformed into Ditto and he is chasing someone. Ben switches to Forearms and catches that criminal. But then it turns out that this is Charmcaster, who was looking much younger than before. Ben had taken everything under control. But then Gwen also arrives there and she's also shocked to see Charmcaster. Then Charmcaster says, "Temporal Displacement Remnant," which meant that she is a time clone. She is not from this time. After that, Gwen tells Ben that "I will handle her. You go and rest. You haven't slept properly for many days." And before Gwen can finish her sentence, Ben quickly leaves from there. An hour later, Ben is lying on top of the rust bucket staring intently at the Omnitrix. When Gwen joins him and confronts him about leaving her behind, it opens up a heavy conversation. Ben confesses a deep, lingering guilt that has been weighing on him ever since he lost feedback. Even though Gwen tries to reassure him that he is still a hero, Ben cuts her off. He explains that he feels personally responsible for a lot of the bad things that have happened from Vilgax and the Forever Knights to Kevin. Because of this weight, Ben drops a bombshell. He thinks it is time for him to leave Earth behind entirely. Hearing this, Gwen gets emotional. She tries to logic him out of it, pointing out that Earth is actually very safe now, since the plumbers have all the major villains locked up. But when she asks where he would even go, Ben reveals his real plan. He isn't running away to hide, he is going to the Plumber Academy. Reminding Gwen that she always wanted him to study more, he decides it's time to take that step, and they head off together to break the news to Grandpa Max. When Ben shares his plans with Grandpa Max, Max understands his perspective but questions if he is truly certain. Ben explains that it is not about certainty, but rather a long-standing realization tied back to words spoken by Tetrax. This triggers a flashback to the Secret of the Omnitrix movie, where Ben had proudly stated how many lives he saved. However, Tetrax's follow-up question, asking if Ben did it because it was the right thing to do, or simply just for the thrill of being a hero, this single question has haunted him ever since Feedback's departure. Ben admits he can no longer deny being addicted to that specific rush, and though taking down all the villains over the summer brought some relief, but deep self-doubt remains, wanting to do things the right way, Grandpa's way. Ben receives Max's full support, who promises to make a few calls. A week later, we see Ben and Gwen sparring. Gwen manages to trap the Omnitrix in a mana ball, but Ben shifts tactics by grabbing the mana strand, swinging Gwen around, and shattering the sphere head to head before transforming into Echo Echo. Heavily overpowering her, Ben tells her to give up, but as Gwen resists, so he unleashes a surprise sonic burst that breaks through her shield and wins the round. While Gwen secretly marvels at how easily she was beaten and wonders when he learned that move, Ben notes that he practices and improves every single night. With training finished, he asks her for a ride to his departure point. Gwen points out that even if he heads into deep space, he must promise they won't turn into the bleak future versions they saw 2 years ago. Ben reassures her by jokingly asking who knocked sense into that future Ben anyway, adding that he is nothing without her and Grandpa Max. Perhaps if you weren't there, I would have removed the Omnitrix too and given up. He then reveals his final request. While he is gone, he wants Gwen to serve as the protector of Earth, working alongside Grandpa Max to reinstate the Plumber Initiative. Though Gwen doubts herself, Ben praises her capability, noting she helps countless people without an Omnitrix and even mastered magic. You are my cousin, and we are Tennysons. The emotional scene cements their close bond, reminiscent of their tight relationship in the UAF era. If you look at it, both of them are very close in age to the versions of Ben and Gwen we see in Alien Force. In that series, they were 15 years old, and here they are 14 years old, so there isn't much of a difference. Back then, during the time of Alien Force, Ben and Gwen's bonding was quite good, and here that same bond is present because working together for so many years makes you learn to truly care for one another. Gwen tells him that she will miss him a lot, and Ben softly replies that he will miss her too. Right here, we get to see a beautiful shot in the comic, and the art style is absolutely tremendous. After that poignant moment, it gets quite late at night, and then Grandpa Max and Prior Galil arrive at the meetup spot. For the sake of ease, I'll call Prior Galil just Magister. Ben jumps down from above, and that is when we see Magister. Ben comes down, showing off quite a lot, executing multiple flips and transforming into Heat Blast before crashing down onto the ground. Seeing this grand entrance, Magister comments that Ben seems like quite a show-off hero. Then they both shake hands with each other, and Magister reassures him, promising to teach him everything he needs to know. Right then, suddenly Lucy also arrives on the scene and gives Ben a sudden, enthusiastic hug. They both warmly greet each other, and Ben remarks that he hasn't seen Cousin Lucy in a very long time, noting that perhaps some things never change. Lucy continues to chatter away, but then Ben notices someone standing off to the side. He looks closer and realizes it is Cooper. At the same time, we see that Kai Green is standing nearby looking very angry because absolutely no one is noticing her arrival. Ben looks to the side again, wondering who this new guy is, completely failing to recognize Kai. Instead, his full attention is on Cooper, who has changed completely. This is absolutely not the short, nerdy Cooper from the classic series. He has grown up to be very smart and very handsome. Ben gets quite shocked seeing this glow up and tells Cooper that he has leveled up quite a lot. Cooper replies that they can't leave the entire burden of dealing with villains on just Ben and Gwen, reminding them that Earth has other heroes besides the two of them. Ben smiles and says that they have all become quite cool, but then he turns his attention back to the mystery person. He points out that he doesn't mean to be rude, but he asks who the new guy is, mistakenly referring to Kai as a boy. From his perspective, he can't tell that she is a girl, which of course makes Kai extremely angry. Ben tries to apologize, explaining that this past year was quite a blur for him and he doesn't remember anything properly because he was far too busy being a full-time hero. He adds that normally he never forgets faces. Kai fires back with thick sarcasm, saying it must be nice that the great Ben Tennyson doesn't remember them, hinting that he probably thinks nothing of us extras. Ben gets defensive and asks what her problem is, adding that, by the way, he hasn't forgotten everyone, he has only forgotten him. It is quite funny how Ben repeatedly refers to Kai as a dude when she is clearly a girl. It makes you wonder if Ben accidentally decreased his brain power in the process of upgrading his muscle stats. How can he not recognize Kai, the very girl he used to have a massive crush on? Ben, are we deadass right now? Anyways, Ben tries to brush it off and states that he doesn't need any team or anything because he finds it completely unnecessary, believing he can handle everything alone. Hearing this, Cooper gets upset that Ben called them unnecessary when they just want to work together as a unit. This tension causes Ben to start experiencing very terrifying flashbacks. In the middle of this, Cooper says that Ben owes him, that they need him, and that they need him on this team. The flashbacks continue to trigger Ben. Out of these memories, we already know the tragic feedback incident, but the other two flashbacks are a bit mysterious because we don't remember these events ever happening in the classic series. Maybe perhaps these are original incidents created for this specific comic that we might find out about later. There is a Diamond Head scene where Diamond Head is severely cracked, with a massive fire raging in front of him. Along with that, there is a shot of Cooper buried under heavy debris with his arm completely crushed and damaged. This hints that maybe due to a mistake made by Ben, Cooper's arm got permanently damaged, which explains why he now has cybernetic arms. Maybe that is exactly why Cooper is saying that Ben owes him, which means Ben carries a debt to Cooper that he feels he must repay, and that is why Cooper wants Ben's help. But Ben continues to refuse Cooper, offering a quiet apology about Dr. Animo. Cooper snaps back that it isn't about that specific incident. Ben insists that he simply doesn't want to join their team because he wants to do everything alone, pushing himself to do as much as he can by himself. Cooper challenges him, asking if Ben thinks he won't be able to achieve his goals while working with them. Ben admits that he might be able to, but it would just be too difficult to balance. While the two boys are arguing back and forth, Gwen decides she has had enough. Out of nowhere, she launches a powerful magic attack from above right towards Ben. Because there wasn't much time to react, Ben cannot transform into an alien quickly enough. However, he manages to activate the Omnitrix's physical shield, successfully saving himself and Kai from the blast. Though it was completely unintentional, Ben and Kai end up wrapped up close together. It really feels like Gwen executed that surprise attack on purpose just to force them together. Observing this, Magister comments to Grandpa Max that it seems all of his grandchildren take after him. Max just sighs and replies that this is exactly why he is worried. While Kai and Ben are still caught up in each other's arms, Ben quickly lets go and awkwardly apologizes while calling her dude once again. Only now does the realization finally hit Ben that she is a girl. It is quite funny how it took him several times of calling her a guy to finally notice something so obvious, yet he still can't quite remember where he knows her from. Ben yells up at Gwen, asking if she is crazy and why she would launch such an attack at them. Gwen flies down and bluntly tells him that she is going to keep teaching him that he is not alone, no matter how many times it takes. This sparks another heated debate between the two cousins. Ben argues that over the past year, he did most of his hero work entirely alone, just to prove that he is capable of handling the burden by himself. He believes he is enough on his own, though he adds that he is thankful for the help Gwen and Grandpa provided. Gwen cuts through his excuses, asking if he honestly thinks he was doing well last year. She reminds him that he dropped out of middle school. Ben defends his choice, saying he did it so he could help people full time. Gwen fires back, saying that he wasn't just helping people, he was hunting the villains down. Ben insists that they were dangerous villains who needed to be stopped, but Gwen tells him to stop making excuses. She points out that he was just running away from his trauma, first running all over the earth and now trying to run away into deep space. She tells him that he is still deeply hurt and acting like a child. She says that while he might convince the entire universe that he is fine, he will never be able to convince her. Gwen admits that she wants to stop him from leaving, but she knows she can't. So she wishes him good luck and tells him to call home sometimes, and says 1A. Ben looks confused and asks what she means by 1A, but before he can get an answer, Kai approaches from behind with a raised fist. She announces that this is their cue, meaning that on Gwen's hidden signal, Kai is launching a physical attack on Ben. However, Ben's reflexes are incredibly sharp. He easily dodges her strike, moves swiftly to the side, and catches Kai, throwing her down to the ground. Seriously, Ben looks way too overpowered in this sequence. He's easily overpowering a trained martial artist like Gwen and weaving through physical attacks without breaking a sweat. His natural instincts and physical strength have clearly increased a lot over the past year, ever since he dropped out of school to become a full-time hero. Ben tells them that enough is enough, and that while he doesn't want to be mean, he really has to leave now. Just as he says this, the ground beneath them begins to violently shake. Multiple mechanical structures emerge from the earth, which Cooper is controlling with his technopathy. Cooper apologizes but tells Ben that he is coming with them whether he likes it or not, trapping Ben inside a powerful energy force field. Ben warns Cooper that a simple force field won't be able to hold him for long. Seeing the tension rise, Lucy turns to Cooper and suggests that if Ben is completely against the idea, they shouldn't force him into it. Kai agrees with Lucy, saying that if Ben doesn't want to join their group, they shouldn't take so much trouble and should just let him be. But Cooper firmly puts his foot down, stating that they absolutely need Ben and that it is not up for discussion. He explains that Ben's power is vital to make Project Delta function. Ben retorts that he never signed up for any group project and demands to be let go. With a quick tap on the Omnitrix, Ben transforms into Big Chill. Cooper insists that he can't let him leave, but Big Chill replies that whether he stays or goes does not depend on Cooper's permission. Big Chill prepares to launch a freezing attack, but suddenly he is hit by a massive shock. This attack was done by the Magister to safely neutralize Ben. With Ben down, the eyes of the three teenagers fall upon Magister in surprise. Grandpa Max chuckles and tells Magister that the move reminded him of their old glory days together. Cooper and Kai look at Magister in awe, realizing that he is a highly skilled active plumber. While Lucy's mind is completely elsewhere, she is just thinking about muffins because she is hungry. Magister stands over Ben and tells him that while he isn't in proper shape right now, he will personally bring this kid into peak condition. He tells Ben not to trouble himself trying to stand up, explaining that the attack was a replicated aerophibian neuroshock, which is absolutely perfect for neutralizing spectral life forms like Big Chill. In other words, it is the exact same type of neuroshock attack that Jetre uses. With Ben temporarily incapacitated, the group prepares to move out and carry him away. As they pack up, Cooper looks over at Gwen and notes that everything went exactly according to their plan. Gwen smiles and thanks Cooper for his help. And the moment she says this, poor Cooper faints from the sheer cuteness of Gwen's smile. With the team assembled, they load up and set off into the deep recesses of space. Now that everyone is together inside the ship, Kai speaks up and asks if someone can finally explain what this Delta project actually is and why they need Ben so badly for it. Cooper recovers and begins to explain the details. He states that the Delta project is a specialized system, an initiative that he started planning right after the injected drill accident that occurred a few months prior. He mentions that he still needs to clear some specific details by talking to the plumber higher-ups, but for now, he has handpicked 4 specific individuals for the team: Ben, Lucy, Cooper, and Kai. Basically, the name of this squad is Team Delta. It is interesting to wonder what Kai's exact role is here, and some fans might think it would have made more sense to include Gwen instead of her. After all, Ben has the versatile power to transform into various aliens. Cooper serves as the ultimate technical genius, and Lucy's mud alien physiology makes her the perfect stealth infiltrator. So, what exactly does Kai bring to the table? Cooper labels her as a specialist field operative, though that feels like a role Gwen could have easily covered with her magic and intellect. But well, whatever the reasons may be, that is the lineup. Cooper goes on to explain that their primary mission objective is the quick de-escalation and absolute neutralization of planetary level catastrophes across the galaxy, much like the mysterious injector drill incident. We still don't know the exact details of what happened during the injector incident, but perhaps the story will reveal it later. It is very likely that this was the exact disaster that cost Cooper his arm. Cooper emphasizes that their entire operation must remain completely hidden from the public eye, no matter what kind of crisis they are dealing with, whether it is a complex political discourse, an all-out intergalactic war, a natural calamity, or a dangerous madman. Hearing all this, Ben speaks up and asks where he fits into this plan, noting that he isn't a spy or a stealth operative. Magister answers him, explaining that Ben won't be operating like a traditional spy at all. Instead, Ben is their ultimate nuclear option, their Weapon X. If Team Delta ever finds themselves trapped, if they get caught, or if an unexpected variable appears that no one else can handle, Ben will be the one deployed to finish the job. Ben admits that it sounds quite cool, but he reiterates that he still doesn't want to work in a team because of what happened the last time he relied on others. Cooper looks down at his cybernetic hand and softly says that he understands, noting that he has to live with the consequences of that day every single day. This confirms that something truly terrible happened during that past incident, even if we don't know the exact details yet. Kai breaks the silence, saying she is glad Ben has stopped arguing, but she demands more clear answers about what they are facing next, since they are officially teammates now. Ben tells Cooper to explain how he messed up in the past, but before Cooper can say a word, the ship's alarms go off. An Incursian energy signature is detected right outside, and a massive hyperspace jump gate begins to open directly in front of them. Ben asks what an Incursian signature means, and Magister grimly explains that they are facing the universe's most ruthless colonizers. He warns the kids that they are absolutely not ready for what is coming, telling everyone to stand down, stay close to him, and orders Cooper to free Ben from his restraints. Ben demands to be let loose, claiming he can take them all down right now. But Magister commands him to stay put because their priority is to escape and reach the safety of the Plumber Academy. Ben argues that he can easily destroy their ships, but Magister says that he is not going to engage an entire intergalactic armada with a group of untrained children. He acknowledges that Ben is a capable hero, but reminds him that the rest of the crew lacks proper training. Magister tells them all to shut up and follow his direct orders, instructing them to watch each other's backs as Ben is finally released from the force field. Right then, a massive Incursian battleship looms over them, having used advanced teleportation technology to instantly pull Magister's ship directly into their cargo hold. Cooper is stunned, noting that this level of teleportation tech should belong exclusively to the Galvans. Magister responds that the Incursians must have stolen it. Ben declares that they can't just sit around waiting to be captured. He asks Cooper if he can get them out of there, if he manages to clear a path to the teleporter. Cooper says it might be possible. Hearing this, Ben tells everyone to stay tight behind him because he is about to forge a path straight through the enemy using pure fire. The scene then cuts to the inside of the Incursion command deck, where we see the Incursion Emperor alongside a young Princess Atia. The Emperor declares that they have finally found their target and tells Atia not to worry because he will be brought home soon. He orders Bounty Hunter 77 to bring the intruders to him immediately. Back at the transport ship, the Incursians, 77 and Raph corner the plumbers and demand their surrender to the great Incursian Empire. But before the villains can even finish their threat, the hull of the ship completely ruptures open and Ben bursts out as heat blast, ready to blaze his enemies. And that is exactly where the 6 available chapters of this incredible comic come to an end. Because these early chapters were quite short, it makes perfect sense to compile them into a single narrative flow. As of right now, no new chapters have been released, suggesting that the series might be on a temporary hold. If you want to see this story continue, you should definitely show your support and follow the creator, Duckz Art, on his official YouTube channel and X account. This artist creates incredibly high quality art and is actually the very same artist responsible for illustrating Absolute Ben 10, so he definitely deserves all the support the community can give. You can find all of his socials in the description down below. Even though Vilgax hasn't officially made an appearance in the chapters yet, we already have a clear idea of what he will look like thanks to teaser art released by the creator. In this timeline, Vilgax looks incredibly ferocious, sporting a design that perfectly blends his classic look with his alien force appearance. To be completely honest, this design looks miles better than the official Alien Force look. The lore behind his appearance is that after being left drifting in deep space following the events of the Secret of the Omnitrix, he was eventually rescued and rebuilt by a crazy scientist named Siphon. Siphon modified and heavily upgraded Vilgax's body, transforming him into an even more terrifying threat than before. Even though this version of Vilgax currently has no massive empire, no personal armada, and no grand status, his pure hatred and drive make him an apex predator. He has already conquered several planets single-handedly just to build up his power to hunt down the Omnitrix, making him the plumber's #1 most wanted fugitive. It is going to be absolutely thrilling to see how Ben and this upgraded Vilgax finally clash when their paths cross. The future of Ben 10 Delta looks incredibly bright. I am really excited about it. And by the way, if you want to explore how UAF, Omniverse, and the reboot would have looked like if it was in the Ben 10 classic art style, then you should definitely check out this video right here.